Higgsfield has been constantly updating their platform with amazing new features, and in this tutorial I'll be covering everything. So if you've never used Higgsfield before, this is going to be a great place to start. So if you're wondering what Higgsfield is, it's an AI platform that allows you to generate some incredible looking visual effects that are essentially presets that you can select to get that desired effect. So this allows you to generate visual effects for short films, music videos, anything fashion related or advertising. So let's go ahead and get started. So in order to access Higgsfield, check the link in the description. It's going to bring you over to this page. Then go ahead and sign in. Now you can try Higgsfield completely for free. However, it is very limited because they'll only give you 12 credits and that only allows you to generate 2 videos. But at least you can try the platform. If you're not going to generate a video, you can maybe try and generate some images. And they just released a brand new image generator, their own image generator called Higgsfield Soul, which I'll also be talking about. But yes, you can try it for free. If you do have a subscription, then I will be showing you a whole bunch of awesome features that you can play around with on Higgsfield. So let's continue. Alright, so let's jump straight into this, but I have to mention this first of all because this, in my opinion, is what sets Higgsfield apart from other AI platforms. It's the fact that it gives you access to this extensive library of these incredible visual effects presets. And yes, they are presets. So you don't have to worry about complex prompting over here. Whatever effect you see is the result that you're going to end up getting with your video. So you simply upload an image or you generate an image on the platform, you select a preset, and then it will bring it to life. And you can see this library is very extensive. It's got some incredible looking effects. You can set people on fire, turn them into thunder gods, generate floods, turn them into metal. You can have so much fun over here. But before we can use these visual effects, we'll obviously need an image. So our first step is actually going to be to actually generate an image with Higgsfield. So the image generator that we'll be using is called Higgsfield Soul. So if I click on this icon, just make sure you have it selected because this is their brand new image model. But you'll notice that you can also generate and edit images using Flux Kontext and GPT-4o, which is also available on the platform. And I have full tutorials on these two features, but I will just test them briefly on the platform. Anyway, with Higgsfield Soul, this is what this model is built for. It's built for realism. And when I talk about realism, I mean images that are essentially indistinguishable from reality. Like some of these images, you wouldn't even know that AI generated them, which is quite crazy because they don't look plastic. They've got this, very realistic aesthetic. Some of them even look like amateur photography. Like for instance, maybe someone was traveling with a friend and they said, hey, just take a quick photo of me by this train. So you can see it's got that amateur aesthetic, but all of this is also presets. So if you want to generate an image that looks like it's low quality, there's a preset for that. Or something that looks like amateur photography, or you want a fisheye lens aesthetic, or you want something fashion related where it generates clothing and this big shoe in the background. I'll show you that all of these are presets that you can select to get that desired aesthetic. So if you guys are looking for realism, then Higgsfield Soul is going to be a fantastic solution for generating these types of images. Now just make sure that you click on create an image, and this is where you type in your prompt. Now you can type whatever you want. I'm going to bring a charismatic grandma to life. Make sure Higgsfield Soul is selected. This is where you change your aspect ratio. Over here I would recommend putting this on high to get the best quality, but it will consume more credits. And now this is where all the magic happens. If I click on change, it's going to give me access to this large library of presets. Now the way that this works is whatever preset you select over here, the AI is going to adjust your prompt, make it more enhanced, make it more detailed so that it can actually look like this visual aesthetic. So if you want something to look like an iPhone photo, you simply select that, you can type in a prompt, click on generate, the AI will make it more detailed, and the end result is going to look similar to what you see within this preview result. And this means that you can generate images that look like Y2K posters, or digital cam is very good for fashion editorial or anything fashion related. You can see over here they've got, if you want something to look like it's on a fashion runway, sure, you can do all of that. There's a whole bunch of amazing presets. If you just want to stick to traditional prompting where the AI won't make your prompt more detailed, you can just select general, and then this button over here, this is the only time this button appears, is on general. You can actually turn that off so that the AI will follow your prompt exactly the way you've typed it, or you can turn it on and the AI will make it more detailed. But by default, if you are choosing presets, the AI is going to make your prompt a lot more detailed in order to obtain that aesthetic. So now you can go ahead, have fun with this, and choose a whole bunch of presets. So I've tried stuff. There's a preset over here called Giant People. You can see the result that it's ended up giving me. This one looks very realistic. It's called Quiet Luxury. Here's the Y2K era. I love generating images also with the fisheye lens. So if you've wanted to generate images with these aesthetics, Higgsfield Soul and these presets makes it extremely easy. So go out there and have fun with that. So before we move on, I also want to show you text-based editing. So we generated our images with Higgsfield Soul. So once you've got an image that you like, go ahead and actually download it, because you'll need to download it in order to do this next step. And now, instead of using Higgsfield Soul, we can use Flux Kontext. Now, Flux Kontext allows you to do text-based editing. I personally prefer it over GPT image because this one retains the overall consistency a lot better than GPT image. So go ahead and select Flux Kontext. You can drag and drop your image over here. And once it's uploaded, it's as simple as making edits to that image. So you can see in this case, I said, make her wear yellow heart-shaped glasses and a yellow puffer jacket, and she now has purple hair. And you can see how well it's retained the overall consistency from the original image. So this is just a quick way to make edits to your image. You can also, prompt it to generate the image in a different style. So like over here I said in the style of a crayon drawing, and that's the result that it ended up giving me. So this really comes in handy if you want to make some edits to an image that you have generated. So give it a try. And you can also do something really cool when it comes to generating a video if you've made edits to an image, which I'll also show you. But yeah, just another quick tip. So now once you've got your image and maybe you've made edits to it, we can finally bring it to life using those amazing VFX presets. So once you've got an image that you like, go ahead and select it so that it brings this up. And now it's as simple as clicking on video, and that's going to bring you over to the video tab. So you'll know you're on video if you hover over create. You'll see that video is selected. Now video works very similar to the image, right? We've also got a whole bunch of presets that we can select over here. Again, just make sure video selected, and you'll see that it automatically places your image into the first frame. So yes, you can even do first frame and end frame with your generations. This is where you'll type in a prompt. You can enhance the prompt, and then by model, I tend to select standard because I always want it in the best quality, but you can even make the quality better. If I click on the settings over here, you can increase the steps. It will consume more credits, but you can see over here it makes the end result have better quality. And then the max duration is 5 seconds. So now go ahead and click on change, and you'll gain access to this large library of visual effects. Now this is where you need to get creative. If you're creating music videos or short films, I'm sure there's a lot of these presets that can come in handy to give you, all sorts of incredible looking visual effects. So now it's as simple as selecting something that you like maybe I like garden bloom. I can select that. It places it over here. You don't even need to type in a prompt. You can if you want to give it some guidance, but I would recommend leaving enhanced on because I've noticed that it gives me much better end results. And when you click on generate, it's going to generate the video for you and then give you an end result. Like in this case, flowers start growing on grandma for some random reason, but yes, that's what that effect ends up doing. I also tried another one over here, which is called paparazzi. So you select that. I didn't type in any prompt, and it gave me this end result. So grandma's very popular and everyone wants to get a picture of her. So you get creative, have fun with this, choose visual effects and see how you can use them to tell a story. So with this result, we obviously get our effect, but it's very static, right? There's no camera motion, and that's where this feature called mix really comes in handy. So if I click on this, it allows you to mix two elements together. So if I wanted to, I could even combine two completely different effects together to get a new effect. So the possibilities for creativity are endless, but this means that I can also mix in some camera control. So if I want to, I can add a dolly in. So now I'll get the garden bloom effect, and the camera is also going to do this dolly in, which is essentially going to add some camera motion. And it's controlled by this percentage slider. So this controls the importance of that effect. If I want garden bloom, maybe to be on 50, that means it's going to give much more importance to the dolly in being present in my end result. So that's how you control it. Right now, I already tried this. So I had my garden bloom on 70 and my dolly in on 75, and it gave me this result. So now I've got the garden bloom, but you'll notice that it's also doing a dolly in effect. So that mix feature can really come in handy to allow you to also add camera motion with effects or combine two effects together. So have fun with that. And because I forgot to mention it, if you want to control the percentage slider, you just click and drag on this white bar. So if you drag it up, it'll increase the percentage. You drag it down, it'll decrease it. Now you can also use start and end frames. So I'm actually going to drag in my first image over here, which is the initial image of our grandma. And then the second image is the one that I edited with Flux Kontext. And I've noticed this effect called morph skin creates this really interesting aesthetic. Because everything else is consistent in the scene. It looks like the clothes and her hair and her sunglasses are just magically changing right before your very own eyes. So if you want to create effects like this using keyframes, this is a great way to do it. So a start frame and an end frame. Again, you don't even really need to type in any prompt. Just select an effect, click on generate, and then you can generate a video just like this. Right, now I've also tried this in some other use cases with something else that's also fashion related. There's also another effect over here called 3D rotation. So this one's going to do an entire rotation like this, and the second image is different to the first one, and you can see it creates a really interesting transition. The same with this one, also using the 3D rotation, but this just shows you how powerful the keyframe feature is when it's used in conjunction with some VFX. So have fun with that. Here's the morph skin with those two different images as well. So it looks super cool. So definitely play around with it. So another useful feature on this platform is called Canvas, and this will be very useful for anyone that's doing any sort of advertising or you require product placement. So if you go ahead and select Canvas, it's going to bring you over to this page. Now it's just a matter of uploading an image. Once you've uploaded your image, you'll see it placed in here. And you'll see whenever I hover over this image, there's this green circle. And when I click and drag with this, it allows me to create a mask. Right, and I'm just going to undo that. So what this is essentially doing is it's called Inpainting. So I can paint a mask on my image. Then I'll be able to upload another image, which in this case can be a real product. So in this case, I'm going to paint a mask over this silver can. Now your mask doesn't need to be precise. It can even overlap other elements. The AI is intelligent enough to understand what it needs to do. So once you've got your mask in place, I've generated an image of a Higgsfield energy drink can. So I can drag and drop that over here by add photo. And then you can just type a prompt to give it some context. So I can say she is holding an energy drink can. And it's as simple as that. So now you can inpaint real products onto an image while making sure everything else remains consistent and doesn't get changed at all, because it's only going to change what you have inpainted. So it's a very, very useful feature. And you can see it only uses 1 credit. So you'll click on that to generate it, and then you'll get some end results like this. And it does quite a good job with retaining the overall consistency of the original product, which in this case is this image. You can see it's managed to retain the consistency with the text and even the small text that's present over here. So it did a very good job with inpainting, and nothing else in this image has changed. So think of this as using Flux Kontext, but with a little bit more control. This also means that I can inpaint items of clothing. So I've got an image of this model. I just drew a rough mask over here, and this is the image that I wanted to inpaint. Now all I did was I uploaded the image and I said make her wear this blazer, and then my end result looks like this. So this is probably going to be the best representation of the garment, and I'll bring the garment up over here as well so that you can see how much of it's actually transferred over in terms of consistency. So it's done a very, very good job. Maybe I could have prompted other elements to be present, like a bra or something else, but in terms of transferring over this garment onto this image with the model without adjusting anything else in the image, I think it's done a brilliant job. So yes, you can also inpaint items of clothing. So of course, inpainting gives you a lot of control, but if you want to, let's say you're just doing fashion try-on, these images were generated without using the inpainting feature on Canvas, because you can actually use context. So remember, I'm here in image. With context, you can upload 2 images. So I uploaded an image of my model, which is this realistic Mona Lisa, and then an image of the garment. Together, I chose an aspect ratio. I left prompt enhance enabled, and I just said make the female wear this blazer. I clicked on generate, and there we go. I've got my model wearing this item of clothing from the image that I wanted, and it's also done a fantastic job. So if you don't want to use, the inpainting, you can just upload 2 different images, one with your model and one with the item of clothing, and just prompt it and you'll get an end result. But I do think that Canvas is better because it just gives you more control. I would still recommend Canvas. I just think it gives you much better control. Here's just an example. So this was my starting image. I then drew a mask on this handbag, uploaded this image of the handbag. You can see the prompt I used. I generated that, and then it gave me this result. You can see everything else remains the same. Now with this, I uploaded this image, and this became my new starting image. Then I drew a mask on the sneakers, uploaded this image of the sneaker, and it gave me this result. And you can see how this is going. So you can just make all of these precise edits to an image. Then I drew a mask on her jacket and replaced it with this one to get this final end result. So everything remains the same with the model, the lighting, and the way it incorporates these elements into the scene. It also matches the lighting, and it does an exceptionally good job. So Canvas, in my opinion, is a very useful feature on the platform. And then to put some icing on top of the cake, you can bring that image to life with everything that I showed you throughout this tutorial. You can use some VFX, or in this case I'm using Mix. So I'm using the angel wings and the double dolly, which are both on 85%, and it gives me this awesome end result. So that could be something maybe in a fashion, a commercial, or maybe it's in a music video or a short film. It's completely up to you, but you can get very creative with these tools once you understand how to use them, and then it's up to you to decide what you want to do with it. So have fun. Now there's one more feature to discuss, which is called Speak. So if you're on video, you can see that you can access it over here, or you can go to Create and click on Speak. So Speak is essentially lip syncing, right? You can upload your own audio and it will apply lip syncing. However, I think this feature is a little bit disappointing because the accuracy of the lip sync just doesn't look good at all. Actually, there's a lot of times when it doesn't look in sync. And that is a big problem, especially when your tool is focused on lip syncing. So it's a little bit of a disappointment, but I'm talking about it because it's a feature on the platform and I'm covering everything on Higgsfield. Anyway, go ahead and just click on Speak. It's going to bring you over to this page. Now, just like with images and videos, we also have presets for lip syncing. So depending on whatever image you're using, you want to choose the appropriate preset. So my image is of this Asian woman and she's taking a selfie, so I would definitely use the selfie preset. But you can see there's presets where someone can walk and talk, they can be selling products and all that other good stuff. So once you have your image, you want to obviously give them a voice. So you'll click on this box and it will bring this up. Now, if you click over here, you'll actually be able to select a whole bunch of different voices. The voices are okay, but I think that 11 Labs is better because 11 Labs can handle all sorts of different emotions and that with your prompting. Over here, you just have to deal with whatever voice you choose. But you can listen to the different voices by clicking on play.
Okay, so basically what our business...
If you like that voice, you can left click to select it. Now you've got it selected. This, however, is quite a cool feature because depending on where the person is located, you can make it sound like maybe they're in the street and talking.
All right, I'm on a street, cars, people, city.
So that's cool. That's a pretty neat feature. And then over here is where you'll type in your text because it's going to do text to speech. So whatever you type in here, you'll just simply click on generate and then it starts generating the text for you. So now once it's generated the text that's been typed out, you can click on play to listen to it.
Okay, so this is a test using the speak feature. Pay attention to the accuracy of lip movement. What do you think?
All right, and if you like how that sounds, you can go ahead and just left click here to select it, or you can click on generate again and it will give you a variation. There's some other settings you can adjust over here, but I usually just leave that on default. So if I like that voice, well, I already generated one earlier, I can just select this, and you can also delete any generations that are in here. So you select that, your audio has been selected. You honestly don't even need to type in a prompt over here. If you can do that if you want to, just to give it some further guidance, and then you can obviously choose the quality that you want. Usually on basic, it's still fine, and you can see it consumes quite a bit of credits, especially if you're going to do it on the highest quality. It's like 85 credits. So this is probably the most expensive feature to use on the platform as well. Then you just click on generate and you'll get a video. So I'll show you the end result. So this is the end result, and I've noticed that the longer these videos play, the lip syncing tends to fall apart or it just goes out of sync. But you can decide, right? I'll show you the comparison with Heygen, but this is Higgsfield.
Okay, so this is a test using the speak feature. Pay attention to the accuracy of lip movement. What do you think?
I mean, it's okay, but there's certain parts throughout this video where I just think that it's not in sync and it just doesn't look right. It tends to look artificial. But now I will show you a comparison with Heygen Avatar IV, and you can compare the lip syncing accuracy and tell me which one you think is better.
Okay, so this is a test using the speak feature. Pay attention to the accuracy of lip movement. What do you think?
All right, so now I've covered every feature on the Higgsfield platform. Now, of course, they always add in new features, but you can see that there is a wide range of awesome things to use. You know how to generate images using Higgsfield Soul. You know how to edit those images using Flux Kontext, and you can use Canvas with the Inpainting. You can generate videos and a whole bunch of visual effects and camera motion. You can do lip syncing. So there's all sorts of awesome stuff to use on this platform. One more tip, if you go to Explore, whether you want to view all images or you want to view all the visual effects. Let's say with the visual effects, if I click on view all visual effects and I actually click on a visual effect over here, like let's say the eyes in, it actually gives me more examples over here. So if you're looking for further inspiration, this can maybe give you some ideas. So yeah, that's just a quick tip. And then from here, obviously you can click on generate and then start generating some visual effects. So I'm all about transparency on this channel, so let's talk about pricing in case you guys actually want to get a plan for Higgsfield. I'm going to be honest, if you want to get the most use out of this platform, you'll need either a pro or an ultimate subscription. It just allows you to do a lot more. And of course, you can see certain plans also include certain features, so you'll have to determine which one works best for you. And if you scroll down over here, you can also see some other features that are included. You can even see how many images you can generate for a specific plan. So go ahead, have a look at that, and you can decide which works best for you. And then go ahead, subscribe, and make some magic. Alright, so that's going to be the end of this tutorial. Now, I've covered everything on the platform, but they are always adding new features, but at least now you'll be up to date. And you can see that this platform allows you to do some really awesome stuff. I think it does differentiate itself from other AI platforms with the fact that it offers these presets with these visual effects and camera motions. So you let me know what you think about Higgsfield. I think it's an amazing platform to play around with and generate all of these incredible looking effects. So have fun with it. And as always, you guys are super awesome, so stay tuned for some more videos and tutorials, and goodbye.
You made it to the end of the video? You know you're awesome, right? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content.